What's up, guys? Watchful Stoic here. It is a wonderful day here in Texas. Bright blue skies. It's very clear skies. 97 degrees. It's not too hot. A little cooler than yesterday. It's pretty nice. But yeah, short day today from work, so I'm going home at the moment. I'm gonna stop by the store, pick up some stuff for food, a church thing I'm doing on Sunday. I'm going to be making breakfast burritos for everybody. But I wanted to do a video on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I mentioned yesterday. So I didn't read any more of the book today because, making up time for a short day today, and then I left early today. So I didn't take a lunch. I just, I guess technically I'm on my lunch right now, but anyway, before I jump into it, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you like the stuff I'm saying, the stuff I'm talking about, give me some love. Share my video. Give me a like. Talk to me. I'd love to hear your ideas. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear your insights. But yeah, with that going, let's jump right into it. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's basically the food pyramid, but for your spiritual and I guess your soul food pyramid, right? So you got your regular food pyramid, which is severely outdated at this point. I remember growing up, we had that big food pyramid. It was blasted all over the place, and you need this much bread, you need this much fruit, this much meat, this much vegetables, this many sweets, and it was way off. As far as the Maslow's triangle goes, though, that one seems to be a bit more accurate. It's stood the test of time. It's been around for almost 80 years now. Basic premises: there are 5 different particular needs you have for your life, if you will. The very first level, the bottom level, the one that's most fundamental to everything else, is your need for food, shelter, warmth. All of that. Everything that protects you from dying of natural causes. Everything that you need to function and survive. Like bare minimum. Which, as you know, yesterday talking about the Holocaust, the prisoners did not really get that. They didn't get very much of it anyway. So they were struggling. They were like the ones that survived were barely hanging on. They were hanging on by a thread. So that's the first level, is your basic physiological needs. The second level is a need for safety and security. You need to know that when you lock the door, it's going to prevent people from getting in. When you basically everything that you do is a function of safety. You're not in danger of getting preyed upon. You're not in danger of getting killed. You're not in danger of being harmed in any way. That's the second level of needs, which also the prisoners lacked severely, because at any point in time, on a sheer whim, the Nazi guards could punish the prisoners however they chose. They were at the mercy of the guards, of the capos. The capos are the prisoners of a higher status that were treated significantly better than the Nazis. No, not better than the Nazis, but better than the other prisoners, but not nearly as well as the Nazi guards. So they got a little bit more favorable treatment, but not by much. But fairly certain that most of the capos, a higher percentage of capos survived over the regular prisoners. Um, but yeah, so the first one is physiological basic needs: food, shelter, and warmth. Second level is safety and security, and then the third level. So you got the physical level, and then you got the spiritual levels. Okay, there's two in the physical, which is the physiological as well as the safety and security, and then now we're going over into the spiritual side of it. And the first level is having a sense of belonging, right? Having somewhere to belong, having a tribe that you are in, a social circle, having friends, people that care about you, having people to confide in. That is the third level of needs. The fourth level is having some sort of esteem and having some sort of a purpose in your life. Being able to be known for what you do and being able to be good at what you do, having mastery of something, of a temporal, worldly thing. Whether that's accounting, whether that's woodworking, swimming, biking, IT, anything. Having esteem is important. That is the fourth level of needs. And then, so you got the bottom, physiological. Second, safety. Third one is your social belonging. Then you got fourth is your esteem, and then the very top is the self-actualization, becoming the truest you that you can be. Realizing who it is, exactly what you are, and how to live the best you can live. For me, what is the best Rafferty? How do I get to the best Rafferty? That is my question. That is the question that I have to ask myself. That is the question I have to really explore. That is the top of the top of the batch there. And so the reason why this pyramid came about, this hierarchy of needs came into existence, was because there were a lot of people searching for some degree of purpose, and as the varying elements of psychology were developing, Maslow was looking at two different sides of the equation here, because you can't have simply only the safety and security and the needs taken care of, and you can't just have the spirituality. So there has to be some sort of combination of the two in order to have a meaningful life. And without having a proper balance of the two, you kind of lose track of what exactly it is that you're doing with your life. And those certain imbalances can arguably be I wouldn't say blamed, but can be the reason for why there are problems in people's lives. You look at the hierarchy of needs. If you are having issues with friends or a spouse or loved ones, that's third level of your needs that you're missing there. If you feel like a failure in your career, that's fourth level of needs. If you don't know who you are, that's the fifth level of needs. If you ran out of food and you're not getting paid for another week, that's your first level of needs. If you're in a situation where you don't know, if you live like in a bad area of town and there's always the threat of that someone might break into your house, that's the second area of needs. there. Um, we we can take a lot of people, we can take a lot of situations and break them down and figure out where, what the actual problem is, and really explore the solutions to it. Oftentimes, you can't really fix everything all at once, but you can do quite a bit. You can fix quite a bit by having a solid understanding of this pyramid and understanding how you should treat this pyramid. If you put too much emphasis into the work you're doing and not necessarily becoming an expert, but because when I was in my early 20s, I worked 80, 90 hours a week. I worked a bunch. I worked a ton. And I really didn't have anything to... I didn't have a spiritual... I didn't have very much spiritual existence in that because I didn't prioritize it. I didn't prioritize friends. I didn't prioritize becoming an expert in something. I didn't prioritize any sort of self-actualization. Right? Sure, I was miserable, but I was dumping all of my time into working. And I wasn't taking time to actually look at myself and focus on myself and really explore the deep recesses of my mind. I wasn't doing that. And that was to my own detriment, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a bad thing either. I did what I needed to do at the time in order to survive, and that's something, because we shouldn't necessarily blame the individual for not having a complete balance of these needs, because it's not always their fault, and maybe it's they have to cope with something. Maybe there's something that really is holding them back, that is affecting that hierarchy of needs. But we don't know off first hand. That's one of the reasons why one of the tenets of Stoicism is you should never judge someone. You should never judge anyone's mistakes. You should never judge where they're at, because if you had gone through what they had gone through, you would probably be in the same situation. You would probably be feeling the same exact thing. You don't judge other people's mistakes because you often make mistakes. The idea of Stoicism is to live a happy life in spite of what the world throws at us, and to be freed from our external validations. Because the sole source of our happiness comes from within us. To that end, we can argue, and this is demonstrated in if you actually look at it, it's really nicely set up. But there are 3 elements to the spiritual side, because those by themselves can set you up for a good life, certainly, but you need to learn how to manage the first 2 levels, because those are the most important. They are the biggest. Safety and security and necessity, having all of those taken care of, are the most important. But we need to evolve beyond simply just having those first few levels of necessities. Because even though the spiritual side isn't necessarily necessitous, I guess that's an improper use of the word. It's not necessary to have those upper 3, but in order to live a fulfilling life, those top 3 are necessary. Let's see. But we can develop ourselves and become very capable individuals. Even if we are lacking in some degree on any of those levels. The ultimate goal of our lives is to be able to balance that whole pyramid and really acquire that last level, that need for self-actualization, to become our own individual and to really understand who we are as people. Because understanding who we are is a very important thing. We can go around pretending to be other people, pretending to be someone else, and borrowing the identity off of others. But then we just end up feeling like imposters. But anyway, yeah. So that's Maslow's needs, a hierarchy of needs. It's answered a lot of different questions in the psychological world, and it's been used on a corporate level by quite a bit. So we've seen a deep evolution in the corporate world as a result of this guy Maslow. The implementation of these various principles have helped it to develop the modern first world, and the more we adhere to it, the faster we can develop. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear back from you guys. I always love seeing the comments. I want to have discussions. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I love you all, and I'll talk to you later.